Hi class, so in this week number 5 and the critical analysis with first with Dr. Linda Elders and its connection to the book, I found out how egocentrism just simply blinds people. That's really the main concept that we're talking about here, and it does prevent objective reasoning. Now, the one thing I notice is that we sort of the one thing I first actually what was reaffirmed to me was how it totally works thoroughly at a subconscious level. And it's really so interesting to see how it's so subconscious because we don't really realize it. And we don't realize it because when we are faced with an argument about something that was said that probably goes against our beliefs or our religious beliefs or political beliefs, it sort of contradicts our own ideas, and we become blocked because I guess that's where intellectual humility should come in place, but it really doesn't, and that's where the ego is troubling us. So I find that very interesting because we like we are absorbed in self-deception, and it's amazing to see that we can only I'm gathering from her lecture that I gather that the way to bring it to the conscious level, of course, is by maybe someone or a social media or the internet or just anything in particular, making it aware to us. And after that, we have to take the initiative to read, to look at videos that will sort of start hinting us and pointing us in a direction to learn more about how egocentrism works. And I find it very interesting because like I said, it's a reaffirmation. Because I first thought that well, it's true. It can't really be at a conscious level because we don't really think about it. It makes all the sense in the world. Now she gave us a good example about Federer, Roger Federer, and how he's submerged into tennis morning, noon, and night, and we have to submerge ourselves and follow the same example. The issue that didn't she didn't bring this up, I think, is that we all face something. There's something adverse, and that's time. When do we have the time for it? That's the biggest issue. So it's about allocating time, and that's one thing that probably I mean she didn't say it, but we can infer that if we start to realize this, then we will automatically start investing time, maybe half an hour a day, to read more about it and to start really realizing on the way we act and the things we say. Another example was when she said about I believe that children are egocentric and that's okay, but for adults it's not okay. And I am in total agreement. I think the book chapters 9 and 10 also bring that up because I remember the book mentions that when humans are very young, and I quote, they need to be restrained from acting egocentrically, and that's true. But then again, in order to be restrained from doing that, it's a process. You cannot just go ahead and correct the child and expect everything to be all right. So it's a long process, and the more we get into it, the more we get away from successful egocentrism, as stated in chapter 10, then what we learn from there is what we can actually start teaching our children. And I think this goes since ages 2 and up, probably between 2 and 11, somewhere around there. I know the book was talking about that, especially in chapter 9, especially when it comes to the ages. But or I think it was chapter 9. But anyway, it's a long process, and in connection to what we're doing, I think it sort of tells us that when we are looking at our papers and our research, we have to think as objectively as possible. Now, we do have to give our point of view, but we have to try to keep this point of view as open as possible so that we avoid falling into total egocentrism in what we display, in what we say, in what we write. And I think that's really the main points I gather from the book and from Dr. Linda Elders. Thanks.